So I watched the 5th episode of And Just Like That season 2 and it was so much fun. Generally, this entire season feels like a crazy roller coaster ride, but today we are riding high. The 5th episode captured the essence of Sex and the City quite well. It was light and fluffy. Many scenes made me laugh out loud, but it slightly lost me when the writers tried to be meta about Che's character, and I don't think they succeeded in it, so without further ado, let's get into the recap. The previous episode was set during the summer break, but this one takes place in mid to late October. It opens with one of the biggest cliches in film and TV history, with the scene of an alarm clock ringing. It's 5 a.m. Miranda wakes up while Che literally went to bed an hour ago. We learn that Miranda lives on a rigorous schedule as she's back at the university, plus she lives between two houses, Che's apartment and her Brooklyn brownstone. In contrast, Che is an artistic soul. They don't work 9 to 5, they're generally an evening person, whereas Miranda is an early bird. And so, in this entire episode, Miranda slowly realizes that despite loving Che deeply, they're very different people. Actually, they might not have that much in common, they lead totally different lifestyles, and are pretty incompatible with each other.
Meaning my loud-ass friends are keeping you awake all night?
Yes. And my crazy-ass schedule is keeping you awake all morning.
Raise your hand if the storyline sounds familiar to you. Why in the And Just Like That writer's room does no one remember that Miranda already had this plotline? In season 2 of Sex and the City, when she started dating Steve, their relationship was all about their clashing schedules. She needed to get up for work or her spinning classes in the morning, and he wanted to stay in bed and cuddle because he worked at night in the bar. I would love to think that this was intentional and meant to show Miranda's pattern and how she falls for the same person, but I don't know. After meeting Lisa's father in the last episode, even though she previously stated he was gone, I am not too keen to give too much credit to the writers. But then again, they correctly recalled that Charlotte once said she was a teen model for Ralph Lauren, so I'm torn. What do you guys think? Then we cut to the test screening scene. Che's pilot was shown to randomly chosen focus group, and now we hear their opinions about Che Pasa. One of the testers happens to be non-binary too, and they read Che to filth. As I said at the beginning of this video, this scene absolutely lost me. I thought that the writers tried too hard to be meta. They wanted to have a direct conversation with the viewers about Che and the criticism surrounding this character, but instead of accepting the criticism or at least saying, okay, yes, we hear you, but we still stand by our artistic choices, the message felt like straight up shaming. Like, this is how it feels when you put your entire heart into your art and people hate it. Feel it yourself. Actually, I would encourage you to listen to the Writers' Room podcast because this is pretty much what Michael Patrick King says when he talks about the scene.
Real interesting experience to have written this character that we thought of as a hero and then have the whole world go, nope. No. What I wanted to do was show people what it feels like if you're that person. Just as a big experiment.
Okay, so let's move on to something positive, shall we? Charlotte's costume party was so much fun. Naturally, it recalled the Staten Island episode, which, as you might know, is my favorite SATC episode. I loved seeing everyone dancing and having a great time. Lisa and Anthony are becoming besties, and I am so into this pairing. When Miranda said she was dressed as the comic disaster that is her life, I was like, oh my god, that's our girl! But the biggest highlight of this party scene were Charlotte and Harry for me. They dressed as the characters from The Americans, a show I haven't heard about before, but I'm not the only one, as no one seemed to get the reference, which slightly hurt their feelings. And by the way, this is so me. Whenever I go to a party dressed in one of the screen-accurate dresses from Gossip Girl I own and no one recognizes those outfits, I am so offended in the silliest way possible. Like, come on, those looks are iconic. So yeah, I loved Charlotte as a TV nerd. She was so funny.
This show is brilliant. Everyone's insane.
Then we cut to Lisa and her husband, who sadly didn't dress up for the party. So Herbert decided to redeem himself and dress up as a sexy George Washington in the privacy of his own bedroom. Now, many of you probably know that Christopher Jackson played George Washington in Hamilton. I didn't know that myself, as I am not a musical girly, but I still appreciate this Easter egg, especially after learning that he wore the actual costume from the musical in this scene. That's amazing! This season of And Just Like That is so referential. In almost every episode thus far, we got a great pop cultural reference, and it generally makes me excited for the upcoming episodes. What else has happened? Nya got back in the game. Love that for her. Seema went home with this guy who I thought had a great pickup line, but for sure he will be remembered not for his art of flirting, but as the penis pump guy. This whole situation was hilarious, and it definitely brought back the spirit of Sex and the City. Seema is quickly becoming my favorite character. I admire her for not taking any nonsense from the guys she dates. The pump guy got threatened by her toy. So what? Love her attitude.
I was a teen model when the Ralph Lauren store opened in New Haven.
Charlotte bonding with Rock over a modeling career was so cute. And also Charlotte reminding everyone she used to be a teen model for Ralph Lauren was so typical of her. I thought the storyline was a great callback to the original show, as Charlotte wore so many polo Ralph Lauren tops and sweaters in her 30s. This brand was always a big part of her identity. So now seeing her in more of a mature Annie Hall-esque vintage Ralph Lauren outfit while she supervised Rock's photo shoot was so satisfying. She was so proud and happy to be a fan parent at once. Very cute. When it comes to Carrie, I am so not into discussing her plotline in this episode. I mean, it was fine, even though the Beatles reference made me roll my eyes a bit. I very much appreciated that the classic Sex and the City form of a boyfriend of the week was back. Not for long though. Yeah, I think the next week is the big Aiden comeback. But in this episode, Carrie's boyfriend du jour was George, played by Peter Harmon, who actually appeared in season 6 of Sex and the City as one of Charlotte's blind dates. The more you know. George was in a very toxic dynamic with his business partner named, you've guessed it, Paul. They seemed to have no boundaries whatsoever. Yeah, everything was very, very toxic. Although I have to admit, I loved this apartment. It looked like the Holston house. So stunning. Does anyone know anything about this apartment? Please report back. Anyway, Carrie is thrown in between Paul and George, and so that makes her a yoko. Sorry guys, I can't. Don't hate me. Altogether, this episode was a lot of fun. I would give it 8 pigeon purses. If only I could erase from my brain the scene when Che says Carrie Lingus, but alas I can't. And also the fact that the writers wanted to teach us some sort of a lesson doesn't sit well with me, so 7 pigeon purses it is. I've noticed that thus far the old numbered episodes were pretty good, whereas the even numbered episodes were a big miss, so let's see if that pattern will continue in the upcoming episodes. Sorry for the shorter video this week, but I'm actually not feeling that great. I don't know if you can tell from my voice or energy, but it is what it is. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if it's not done already. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye!